Hey, what's going on, everybody? Alicia here with Alicia's Place here on YouTube, where we talk a lot about pain management, energy healing, holistic living, and just really everything that helps the body, mind, and soul. So today's topic, I wanted to talk just briefly about pain management. This is a topic I'm going to talk a lot more in depth about, and I just wanted to kind of kick the conversation off talking about pain management and just how do you deal with pain that's in your hands. Do you ever have prickly feeling, burning sensations? Do you have trouble gripping things? Do you have to compensate? Do you ever find yourself compensating for your hands and even your arms? So one thing that I know a lot of people will tend to do, they'll get braces, they'll get the things that kind of go on the arms to immobilize them. There's just a heavy case of people like diagnosing themselves as having carpal tunnel syndrome. That's like one of the biggest things. And it's very interesting when a client comes in and they're like, yeah, and I'm asking them, so what's, what are you here for today? What's going on? And they're like, I think I have carpal tunnel syndrome because, right here, and they're like giving me all these descriptions of what's going on. And I'm like, first, were you diagnosed? Were you diagnosed, or did you hear that from a friend, right? Or did you like Google the symptoms? And often enough, people have not properly been diagnosed. And I do have a little bit of an issue with even the diagnosis, I'm not gonna lie, because there's been quite a bit of people being misdiagnosed. I know for myself, I was misdiagnosed with having frozen shoulder when in reality, it was actually the muscles of the rotator cuff. And I'll talk more about frozen shoulder and the rotator cuff in another video. But today I just wanted to talk about your hands. Our hands are a very vital part of our lives. If you didn't have your hands, it would be more challenging to do a lot of things. Let's be honest, right? And so when you start to have pain in your hands and you start to like compensate and not really be able to utilize your hands, what do? Do you just let yourself be in pain, or do you go and grab medication? Part of my goal, especially like with these videos, to kind of help spread some knowledge about a better alternative to pain management, would be body work or massage. And not just and see, I don't want to say just any kind of massage, okay? Like, there are certain types of massages for certain end goals. And so myself, I'm a neuromuscular massage therapist, basically a pain management specialist. So I help with people that have been diagnosed with something to see if that's actually what it is. And it's nice because I will collaborate with their doctor and let them know, like, hey, I did these tests, but they were actually negative. And upon like further like investigating with doing the body work, I noticed these muscles were very tight. There's lots of trigger points. And then there's, that conversation that can open up. Now, some of the things that you can do for your hands, especially, I want to talk a little bit about the structure of your hand and then also like the forearms. So there are no muscles up here, so you don't have muscles in the these are actually called phalanges, right? So you don't actually have muscles here. Your muscles are actually just like in the palm. You have your thenar eminences here. You have muscles, tiny little muscles in the palm, mostly on this side, some on this side too, but mostly on this side. And then obviously like your forearm muscles, your flexors and your extenders. Now, when the way the muscles are kind of constructed, or I would say how they run in your body. So your muscle, like the muscle belly, I'm going to back up. So the muscle belly is more here. Okay. And then as it gets closer to the wrist, a lot of them turn into tendons. So a lot of the muscle bellies are maybe about like that, kind of like that, you know, the length of the forearm, and then they kind of go in the tendons and they come into the fingers. And so a lot of pain patterns, you know, you'll feel pain in these areas. There's a lot of pathologies where like you'll feel pain here, carpal tunnel, you know, it's a lot of this. You can even have like pain in the palm itself. And also just really depending like where's the pain that you're experiencing, because fun fact, it actually could be coming from your neck. There's a set of tiny muscles that are here in the neck that contribute actually to pain that comes down the arm. It could also be muscles that are tight in the rotator cuff as well. And so, you know, meeting with, or even really just searching out a neuromuscular therapist, the chances of that pain getting addressed will diminish. I'm sure, you know, just the regular massage would start to help, but I feel that it won't directly be addressed. And I say that because like I've gone, you know, I've gone and gotten body work, and, you know, I wanted to focus on a few areas, right? And it was like an hour, I think was the session. Yeah, it was like an hour, and I was like, you know, I have these things going on. And I mean, the lady was honest. She was like, well, I'll kind of get to everything, but like, what did you really want to focus on? And so she did kind of focus, but I wasn't satisfied. I felt like she didn't really address like what I came for. It was a little bit harder to really like to really just know that I got what I came for. Yes, I was relaxed, like that was a good thing, but I still had like the same pain pattern that I had initially came in for, like a day or so later. And now I don't want to say that within one session, you know, everything should be fixed, but I would say you know, right after the session, and then like even a couple days after, like you should start to naturally feel your body adjusting and shifting as it's like adjusting to the work that was just done. And one of the main differences with neuromuscular is that me as the therapist, I'm really working and communicating with your brain and your nervous system. I'm really only working with that system, and your body is the one that's actually healing you and bringing about that healing. And so when you're having those different pains and you're like, man, my hand, I don't know, I don't know why. It's not the hand, it's your forearm. So be sure, if you're going, if you can't find a neuromuscular therapist, any massage therapist will work just fine. You just have to know how to speak to them, because a lot of therapists are kind of in this mindset of just helping you relax, the Swedish, even the deep tissue guys. You want to kind of be careful with deep tissue, because a lot of people are out here doing it wrong and actually causing more injury than healing underneath. And before I go, it's funny that, that kind of came up because where I'm working at right now, I'm only working one day there because I'm getting my own thing started, and so I was talking to the guy that owns the place, and he was kind of like insinuating that I need to do more deep tissue for people because they want to feel that euphoric, like, pain release. And my viewpoint on that is a little bit different. Like, I understand there is kind of that euphoric pain release or relief. But I think I feel like it's a different experience for everybody, because the way he asked me, he was like, well, have you experienced that? And I was like, not really. I've just, whenever like I've had a muscle finally relax or release, it was just more of a calming situation and not really like hurt, not like pain. When I do work on kind of a hurt good boundary, really a lot of communication during the session, making sure that I'm staying within a certain pain scale and not exceeding that, because again, I'm working with the brain and the nervous system, so there's a part of it where the person's brain has to trust me as the therapist, that I know what I'm doing, that what's happening is actually beneficial, versus me just going in and like the nervous system, and then the nervous system just goes wild, and there's also therapists that will only want to do that part of it, okay, and they won't want to do Swedish, and you actually really need both. You do, because the Swedish, like that side of massage, it helps the nervous system to relax and calm down and to get into the parasympathetic state. And then once the body has opened up to the therapeutic work, then that's when, I go in with neuromuscular techniques like deep transverse friction, cross fiber. Cross fiber is more of like the warming up of that area, and then going in with deep transverse friction, which helps, to realign the fibers and just to help them to start to connect and lay in more of a straighter pattern, so that as for example, if you are on a new workout regimen, you're able to recover a lot faster because the fibers have gotten help to be more in a line, so to say. So yeah, I'm going to go ahead and cut the video here. I'm not going to make it super long. Next video, I'll probably talk a little bit more about the arms, and then going up I'm going to start kind of breaking down the body as a whole, or, you know, breaking it down, just different things. If you have any questions or if you do have pain in a certain area, let's have a discussion. Where do you have that pain? What are your pain patterns? Like, where are you feeling it mostly? What are you doing when you're doing those actions to activate that pain? Well, I'm out. This has been Alicia with Alicia's Place, and I will check you guys out on the next one. Peace.